Thanks for checking back in today. I can't tell you how much it means to have this time to spend with you and connect with you. So I'm glad we have this. How many times have you been asked the question, where were you when? It seems to come up a lot, especially certain times of year. And I can clearly recall some landmarks of events that have happened during my lifetime that have affected our national landscape. Part of my early years were spent in western Iowa, only an hour or so from Sac Air Force Base in Omaha. And during that time, jet fighters flew over regularly in those days, traveling at Mach speeds and creating those well-known sonic booms. This was the early 60s, so in addition to these frequent flyovers, the Cuban Missile Crisis was flaring up, which caused all kinds of fears and concerns. Even at the age of 9, I can clearly remember hearing those jets flying overhead and wondering if this was going to be the day that something monumental would happen with those big jets. A year later, I can clearly remember returning to my 5th grade classroom after recess, only to have our teacher tell us that President Kennedy had been shot in Dallas, Texas, and how that all made us feel and how we reacted to that. A few years later in 1969, my family huddled around our black and white TV to see the first moon landing, which was such a momentous event as well. And I can remember watching reports of Vietnam War on the news and the assassinations of Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. As an adult, I can tell you exactly where I was when the Challenger blew up and remember watching it on a TV that we pulled into a break room at work. And not only can I tell you where I was, but I can tell you exactly how I felt when the Twin Towers went down on 9/11 and know what I was doing and where I was at those times too. All of these momentous events have not only shaped my life, but the life and character of this country that we call home. They won't fade from memory, and we can bring those up at almost a moment's notice when someone asks, where were you when? This year has been full of the kinds of events that will be part of our conversational landscape for a long time to come. Where were you when the derecho hit? Or when the state shut down and we had to quarantine in our homes and shelter there? Where were you when? Of all the things that we take away from our experiences this year and beyond that, I hope that we'll remember forever the kindnesses that have been extended to us by our friends and families, our neighbors, and especially our Marian Methodist family. I know this time has been hard, it's been monotonous, discouraging, life-changing, anxiety-ridden, and filled with grief and sadness. It just has been. But I also know that there have been many, many, many of you that have bent over backwards to send thinking of you cards, make phone calls, check in with your neighbors and friends. And until you receive one, you can't begin to know how uplifting it is to hear someone say, I was just thinking about you today and decided to give you a call. Or to receive a handwritten note in which someone says, you were on my mind today, so I said a prayer for you. There will be so many things we'll remember about these months and much that we'll try and forget. But I urge you to continue using this time to reach out, extend care and love in any way that you can to a neighbor, the people who would be sitting near you in church, a coworker that you haven't seen for a while, anybody that God puts on your heart. This whole thing isn't over by a long shot, so let's keep loving each other any way that we can. Proverbs 17:17 begins, a friend loves at all times. Let's use this time to show our love in all kinds of amazing, God-pleasing ways. God bless you. Thank you.